Welcome to Cloud School. Adobe Photoshop and Intermediate Graphic Design. In this video lesson you will learn the most critical methods and powerful capabilities of Adobe Photoshop. Painting in Photoshop. For many artists, Photoshop's ability to paint and illustrate is their favorite feature. In this video you can learn how to use Adobe Photoshop's brush tool, apply gradients for depth and shading, and use styles for a unique way to colorize your projects.
When you were a child you may have colored in coloring books. We will have some fun and try this basic idea but with some advanced tools available in Photoshop. To get started we will go to a web browser and search for a topic and include the term coloring so we can locate coloring page type images, ideally with solid black lines and obvious areas of white that will allow for the magic wand tool to easily select a portion of the design and color to this specific area only. First step, find your image to color. Click once on the thumbnail for the image that you want to use and the browser will usually show you the larger full-size image and not just a smaller thumbnail. On the larger image, right-click so that you can copy the image.
If you haven't already opened Photoshop, do so now and then you can go to File, New, and it will show you some options including Clipboard. Select this option because the clipboard is where your computer copies the image into its RAM memory, and then use Edit, Paste or shortcuts Command+V or Control+V to paste. Now you're ready to go. Let's next try the magic wand to select one region or part of the image by clicking in that area. If you want to select multiple sections, you can hold the Shift key to add another section. Now find the brush tool and click on the foreground color. To color, pick a color to use. You might also want to open the swatches palette to easily pick predefined colors. Go to Window, Swatches to check this out.
With the brush tool, make a left click and hold your mouse to paint. Don't worry about painting outside the lines because you've made a selection and this will limit your painting to the selected area. As you move forward with the idea, don't forget you can undo a brush stroke or any step that does not work out. The brush size and type can be changed by right-clicking or finding the appropriate options in the options window that appears at top of the interface and changes depending on the tool being used. The brush has an attribute called hardness and typically you want to have a somewhat soft or faded edge to the brush so that the color will fade away on the edges. Otherwise it will look like colors are carved, or cut in, instead of painted.
There are many advanced features available for your brush, so we will limit this lesson to just a few of the most popular. Brush dynamics can allow the size and opacity to fade away over a distance, called steps. Try changing this value. For many artists the use of a graphics tablet is an ideal fit for Photoshop, allowing more opacity or coverage depending on the pen pressure. With a regular mouse or trackpad you can use the fade option and set how fast or slow it affects the brush stroke.
With that in mind, let's make your brush large enough so you can easily paint in the area you selected with a solid color. The brush tool uses the term opacity to identify how much color or how transparent the color will be. 100% means solid, but the soft edge brush will give the edges a slight fade. Terrific! Now let's try the advanced move of using the default colors icon, black and white, and then adjusting the opacity down to 10 to 20%. We can now try adding lighting effects like highlights and shadows. With black you can add shadows or a slight darkening of your original color to simulate the light being slightly darker, and then try to use the little flip-flop switch to quickly switch to white. Now add some highlights. You will find using the edge of a large brush will give you a subtle change and realistic lighting. It's a skill that takes some time to perfect, but have fun and see how that goes. We will show you how to use the gradient tool next. Moving on to the next section, you can use Select, Deselect or Command+D to allow for a new selection. Magic wand your next area and try the process again. Check your opacity and adjust to 100% or brush over the same area a few times to get a solid color like you did before. Then the shading and highlighting using less than 100% opacity for the brush and white and black. That's a pretty fast but effective way to get going, and advanced users will likely find using other colors and tones can give you even more capability.
Great, before you go much further, let's show you another way to get a great painted look. The gradient tool in Photoshop is best understood by pointing out it can be used with your foreground and background colors to make a two-color blend. A gradient is a blend of colors, and Photoshop has some great variations to try out. We are going to stick with the linear version of the gradient tool, and when you click on the preview of the gradients you will find in the basics folder, the very first option is foreground to background. The foreground to transparent is another good type you should try. That is the second option. Give it a try, click and drag from one side of your selection to another and the colors will fade across. Make a shorter or longer line and it will change the way it is applied. Try changing angles and the length of your attempt.
You can do solid 100% opaque, with 100% opacity gradients. That works well, and you can lower the opacity and use the default black and white colors to add the same lighting effects we painted with the brush a moment ago. These will be very smooth. Sometimes it looks a little too artificial, but you can make this work on many designs. Now if you can hold on for one more major idea before you work to complete, there is a fun way to add styles to colorize the coloring page.
Now let's try that style idea, so you will have one more powerful way to paint or colorize a design. This one is different, so here we go. Make the selection with the magic wand as you have done before and then edit, copy and edit paste. You may not notice at first, but the white contents of the original layer are now on its own layer. From here, click on a style from your styles window. If that is not showing, go to Window, Styles. If you don't have many options there, try going to the small dashed lines at the top of the window and you can see there are other libraries. Tom's top 2 are Text Effects and Text Effects 2. There is a lot here, so try a few and see if you can get a unique look. If you do, you can save this new style. Try clicking into the styles window or look for the option to create a new style. That is a lot to work with, and the more you practice and experiment, the better you will get. Have fun, and we will see back at Cloud School for the next step in your media arts progression.
It's all happening up here.